हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। फ्रेंड्स, आज का वीडियो बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाली है। आज की वीडियो में मस्कट डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन का वीडियो है। आप लोग देखते रहे ना। ये फ्रांस के पहले जो आर्मी रहते थे ना, उनके बारे में गन बारे में है। वो लोग पहले कैसे गन चलाते थे।
Admission fees pay for the upkeep of this fort. It's not a federal or state organization, and as such, your admission fees pay for the roof, the electricity, the wages. Let me stress wages. Okay. Thank you. That said, I am going to ask a rhetorical question. Who here thinks it's a really good idea to stand in a straight line and let other people shoot at them? Anybody?
No.
That makes perfect sense if you understand this. This is a smooth bore flintlock musket, and as such, it's incredibly inaccurate. Okay? So to make it effective, they're going to line up hundreds of people. They all shoot at the same time, and at 100 yards, 1 in 10 will hit things. That's called line or linear warfare. Well, think about it. They were all accurate. Everybody would be dead after the first 2 volleys, which just didn't happen, right? So that said, someone gave away the whole bit there that I'm dressed as a British infantryman. And you know that because I've got a black ribbon in my head. See it?
See that?
That's a cockade. The problem with the red coat is, guess what the Spanish infantry are wearing? Red coats. Guess what the American musicians are wearing? Red coats. Guess what the British infantry or the American infantry are wearing? Blue coats. Guess what the artillery in the British Army are wearing? Blue coats. So you have to look here and here before you start shooting. Okay? Usually it's the 1,000 people over there screaming at you, and that's a pretty good indicator. Starting at the top, I'm wearing a cocked hat, so named because it's cocked over the right eye. All right. It does absolutely nothing. It doesn't shade your face. It doesn't keep you warm, but it looks nice. All right. It was their version of a gentleman's hat. All right. And one of the sales pitches that the British used to get people into the army was they will make you into a gentleman soldier. It's made out of wool. The coat is the regimental coat. It's the King's 8th Regiment. It was here for 11 years during the War of American Independence. And you should go, 11 years here, okay? Listen, this wasn't the end of the world, but you could see it from here in 1770, right? There was nothing beyond this place, and you got to sit here for 11 years in a row, looking at the same faces, nothing to do, year after year. The closest town's 200 miles away, and you can't go there. So just imagine it, just horrible, right? So that said, every button says KS8 on King's 8, and I'm wearing the King's color, which is blue. And this is a mark of royal favor. See, he liked you so well, he stuck you out here at Rock for 11 years. And the reason that happened was instead of 2 years, the War of American Independence started, and there was no regiment to relieve them because they're fighting the rebels, all right? You may know them as Americans, but they're rebels, all right? So that said, year after year after year, the vest or waistcoat is made out of wool. The breeches are made out of wool. The socks are made out of wool. And then the gaiters, that's made out of a canvas, all right? All in, you're wearing about 8.5 pounds of wool. You get to wear it every single day of the year. 95 degrees, -10, you're in the same outfit. It doesn't change, all right? Oh, I gotta mention these. These
Heart rate
lovely little
okay.
gators here keeps the debris out of your shoes, and they're referred to as splatter dashes. Yeah. They used to come up all the way to here, but as an economy, they cut them way short, right? That said, what I'm carrying is a short land pattern musket. It's 75 caliber. It weighs 8 pounds, and like I said, it's incredibly inaccurate. The reason for that is the ball that you're going to shoot out of here is 69 caliber. There's 6 calibers difference, so you get a gap like this. Now that doesn't make sense because every gap makes it more inaccurate. What they want is a gun that fires fast and more often. So that said, this gun can be loaded in 15 seconds. A rifled gun can be loaded in 60 seconds. This gun will fire 75 times. Rifled guns will fire 25 times. And this gun's 1/3 the cost of the rifle gun. So George like muskets. They don't like rifles. One more thing you can't do with a rifle gun is you can't put a bayonet on it. See this thing? That's a lug, not a sight. That holds the bayonet on. Now if this was a rifle, it would be a super fine sight so you could target someone 100 yards away. But this thing, when you shoot it, the ball goes boom, 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 boom. Wherever it lands last, it ricochets in the opposite direction. So if it hits down, it goes up. Left, it goes right. Right, left. You have no idea where the ball's going. So that's why you need all that help. All right. What makes it work is this. This is flint. This is a piece of stone that's harder than that piece of steel, right? When I pull the trigger, this is going to hit this. This is called a hammer on a British gun. It's going to cut the steel off this plate. That spark should ignite the powder right here. Should ignite the powder right here. Anyways, the powder here should explode. It goes through a small hole called a touch hole or a vent. It's more powder inside. Second explosion should take place. Ball rattles out of the gun, and you miss what you're aiming at, okay? So accept that. So that said, go over the should stuff. If the flint gets dull or dirty, no, friction gun doesn't work. This will build up a lot of soot right here, so you have to wipe this off every 6-7 shots. If the wind blows, it blows the sparks away from the gun. It doesn't work in the wind. If it's raining, it doesn't work ever, right? So 18th, early 19th century, don't fight in the wind, rain, sleet, snow, Thursday, gun doesn't work a lot, right? However, at that time, this is the most modern up-to-date thing. Rifles use the same mechanism, no advantage, right? Okay. So that said, this is a cartridge box. You're going to be amazed. It's got cartridges in it, right? So a wooden block. It's got 28 holes in it. In each hole should be a paper cartridge, and this is what's going to make the gun so fast to load. Rolled up paper cylinder. It's going to have the ball on the bottom, powder on top, one-step operation. The ball is going to look like a shooter marble. It's going to be about that big, solid lead, and it's going to do horrific damage to the human body. What's the good part? Not many people get hit. That's the good part, okay? All right. So, get this open quickly. You're going to bite it with your teeth. To be a soldier, you need 2 teeth. And the teeth have to oppose each other, all right? So, good, all right? You also need 4 fingers. A thumb and an opposing finger on each hand is sufficient to work on a cartridge. You don't need 10. That said, good eyesight. Point the damn thing, pull the trigger, and hope for the best, okay? And you obviously don't have to read and write. So that said, you've got 2 teeth, 4 fingers, you're blind, you're illiterate, you're perfect for this job, okay? I'm going to prime this. This should be a good day for the gun, but you never know. I'm going to shut that, cast the weapon about, and put the rest of the cartridge down the muzzle. So ball, powder, and paper. What's the paper do? It stops the ball from achieve that, they're going to practice every single morning, except Sunday. That's the Lord's Day. Anyways, and you're going to be in the Army for 21 years. You have to do this every day. You have to prove competence every single day. And everybody, if you're not cooking, you're doing this every single morning, right? So that's the gun's loaded. There are going to be 3 commands. The first gun is going to be make ready. We're going to pull this back to full cock, right? Now, that looked like a rooster with a piece of flint in its beak. That's what they thought. So that's half cock, right? Pull it back to full cock. Now the next command is going to be, obviously, what? You're not listening. Aiming doesn't do any good. They're going to say, literally that's what the French say. The British say present. And then they're going to say fire, right? Only the Americans say aim. The British think that's humorous, okay? I'm going to try it out. Now, if it doesn't work, the sparks are random. They don't always hit the powder. You know, it's not a mechanical process. Most of the time it hits it, sometimes not, right? Let's say you pick it up and you get a giant click. What do? You go through the motions. You pretend you're loading and firing. Those guys don't know this gun's not working, right? All right, so the first command is going to be make ready, present. 1, 2, 3. No. That's a half a load. So what you didn't see was the smoke blew away instantly. Imagine now, absolute calm day, 700 guns going off every 15 seconds. Smoke everywhere, very hard to see. How do you avoid shooting your friends in all that smoke? Bright red sport coats. That's what the coat's about. It's about being seen by the people behind you. Because you're more afraid of these guys than the people shooting at you, okay? You need to be seen. So, and look at all the nonsense going on. All the white, red, contrast to be seen in the smoke, right? So they shoot, you shoot, excuse me, consumption. Anyways, they shoot, you shoot, and the commanders watch the other people. And if they see the other people making mistakes, they will tell you to drive them off the field, right? What are they looking for? Well, people aren't loading fast enough. They're not listening to commands. They're not well trained. They're not staying where they're supposed to be. People are going, I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to leave early. You know, if it happens often enough, this is what's going to drive people off the field. This is the ring of the socket bayonet, and it's scarier than the gun. It's always made in a triangular configuration. That makes the blade very strong. If you stab someone with the triangular blade, believe it or not, the doctor has trouble sewing shut triangular wounds, okay? And they tend to tear open. They don't have antiseptic or antibiotics. They don't have clean bandaging. They have infections, okay? That's the first thing. If you fire repeatedly with the blade on, you're going to get this black soot all over it, right? That's fouling. It's made from charcoal, sulfur, saltpeter. Charcoal is burnt wood. Sulfur is an element dug out of the ground. And the last thing, potassium nitrate, where does that come from? Cow manure. Yeah, you pour human urine through cow manure. What comes out the bottom is potassium nitrate, all right? That's not good for wounds either. And last thing, this is kept razor sharp, all right? See? It's never sharpened. Dull blades tear bigger holes. So what do you do when 700 people start walking towards you? Move away, folks. That's how the battle's at. No big Donnybrook. You leave at the appropriate time. And if you do, they don't chase you. They let you go. If you leave the field, you lose, and they don't want to feed you, so We'll see you next week. That's the end of that. So that's it. Are there any questions? No? Well, you're welcome. If you have any questions, I will be inside avoiding work, and thank you for coming.
How many men were stationed?
Well, see, 1726 till 1880. You know, it goes from 15 to over 600. So when the British are here, they have a garrison of 600. And that's not half of it. They have 1,000 Indian dependents outside. They have 900 loyalist refugees, 600 rangers across the river. So it was like, can't express it. Right.
Off the feed too. So where did they get the food from?
Wendy's.
What?
I'm just joking. Wait, what?
The food comes from Europe
What did he
in
say?
barrels and ships. And unless you're an American, it only comes from Philadelphia. You know, and you can imagine trying to get food here from Philadelphia. Pizza oven. That's a hot jet oven.
And what do they do with that?
They heat cannonballs up to the red and white hot.
So where was the kitchen? They said there was a kitchen there.
There is no
Stove.
kitchen.
A stove or something.
No.
No, there wasn't.
No. This is a bakehouse that's got 2 ovens.
Bakehouse.
Yeah, but soldiers cook for themselves in their barracks. All right. So there's no mess hall. There's no dining hall. And one guy out of 9 cooks, and they always cook the same thing, which is a delicious concoction of dried peas or beans, salt pork, and 1 pound of bread. Eat 2 meals a day. And so here's the question: why would you join the British Army? 2 meals a day. They're living on 2,000 calories or less. They're sent to this godforsaken place for 11 years. They're beaten mercilessly if they mess up. Why would you join? Got paid every 2 years. Or every 2 weeks. What am I saying? Every 2 weeks. You got a new uniform once a year. Now, if you're in a factory, you don't get new clothes ever unless you can afford it. They work 5 or 6 hours a day. Factory workers are working 10 to 16 hours a day. And they're paying for everything. They're paying for their food, their clothing, their room and board. That's given to you. If you get sick here, you're taken care of by a doctor. And if you live long enough, you might get a pension. Yeah, okay. So for some people, you know, people who are marginalized, guys who owe a lot of money, men with 2 or 3 wives looking for them in London, this was a good out for them. So if there was some security, that's why they did it. Right?
So what's the cross signify?
That cross, I got to get the right date here. 1687. They left a garrison here. The French left a garrison of 100 men. The French managed to piss off the Indians, and so the Indians surrounded the place and let them starve to death over the winter. So out of the 112 survived, and that was erected by the priest who founded it. Yeah. 4 wars fought here. Sure. Got some place in Baltimore. One battle, big deal. This was besieged, stormed, bombarded. Yeah. A lot happened here that people don't know about, right?
I'm curious what the white flag is. That the
So now
surrender
you've got
flag of the
questions.
French?
Okay. Huh?
Is that the surrender flag of the French, or is it being sarcastic?
That's the French maritime flag.
Okay.
This is administered by the Department of the Marine, and it originally had 4 fleur-de-lis on it in white, which you couldn't see. So finally they just left it white. Okay, so that's why it's up. All right. It's a good question. Anyways, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.